up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. Coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy, I'm Krista Don One. Welcome to a fabulous rendition of Based on a True Story podcast. It's your host, your moderator. Feel free to hit the subscription button, the notification bell. Share this live with your friend, family, as well as your followers. Let's get this live lit in the YouTube algorithm. You heard me? Now, you can plainly tell that I'm still under the weather. I'm bearing with it. When the change of scenery comes, I get that, I get that sickness going on. I get a cold, a flu, all the above. I done tried NyQuil, DayQuil, everything, and I still haven't got my voice back. So bear with your boy, all right? So we're going to start off by saying, hey, this is the first live of the new year of Based on a True Story podcast. Congrats. This is also the first live where you actually see me in full effect. I know a lot of you guys out there, and I mean it, guys out there that wanted to see your boy in 4K, 8K, all day, every day. All right. Can y'all hear me? I'm gonna make sure, see if y'all can hear me. Can y'all freaking hear me? Y'all been wanting this, so I'm gonna give it to you. I just want to first and foremost know, can y'all guys hear me? Every day. Yeah. Y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me. All right. So, how y'all living? Living swell. Hope everyone had a fabulous holiday. Okay. And I hope everyone, you know how you do your little goals and expectations on the new year when the ball drop. I hope y'all get up some progress and progression in that. Okay, because this is the year of motivation. The word of the day, the word of the year is a motivation. Some getting your finances motivated, getting your health and nutrition motivated, getting your career motivated, getting your education motivated. The key word is motivate. We need some motivation in this piece. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna get into it. Yeah, look, y'all just gonna have to bear with your boy. I'm under the weather. I'm not feeling it, but I said to myself, hey, I was going to do this real fast and real quick. All right. So let's start off by saying this. Public service announcement. If you are a white female wearing yoga pants, out and about, shaking your money maker, and it's damn near like 30 or 40 degrees out here. Not right now, not in the middle of the night, but just like in the daytime. And you got that little muddy water walk, that little shake what your mama made you. Like every time you shake, you're afraid that change is gonna fall out of your back pocket. All right. So if y'all out here, the funniest thing happened. I was driving, handling some business, and I saw this female, and there's a white female, slender, has some yoga pants. Look like she just came straight out of Starbucks. Okay. She just in that type of mode. That's not the odd thing. The odd thing was she was walking across the street and she had a cat on a dog leash. And I'm saying to myself, Lord, you just can't make this stuff up. I always say the good Lord was a comedian at one time. Because, he always put stuff in front of me that I will look at, I'll question it, and I'll get a little chuckle out of it. All right? I just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay? So, we're going to be talking about based on a true story. This is where I tell you guys my trials, my things that I have went through throughout my life. and I'm going to share those things to you guys. All right. So, as you can see, you can clearly tell I'm still under the weather. I'm still under the weather, not feeling it, but I'm going to push through it. Okay. So, I'm going to tell you guys, when I was in middle school, I I showcased and displayed that I was going to be a tall, lengthy type of individual, right? My growth spurt, I just kept growing. And I just kept growing and growing. So like in middle school, like, man, like my friends, like I would be the same size as the teachers. That's how tall I was. So one of the teachers said, yo, Chris, you should try out doing sports. At that time, I wasn't no real big sports fanatic. I like playing sports, but to, play, like on an amateur or school level, I wasn't, just wasn't my thing. I didn't mind doing it, when I'm out and about, when I'm at home, because when you're at home, mom and pops wanted you to get out the house. So you had to get out the house. You ain't gonna be playing video games. So you got to get out the house and do something. All right. So, where I lived at in my little community, we had a basketball court, we had a football court, a football field, a basketball court, indoor, outdoor. We had a little place to, to do all types of stuff. Okay. So I was very active. All right. So I didn't mind playing pickup basketball in, where I was from. I didn't mind occasionally going to the football field playing some football. Okay. It was real unorganized, and hey, you get your workout on, you dig? But I, never, my parents didn't really push me into sports. Like I see like a lot of people like my age or older or even younger, and they tell these horror stories about, like, man, they mom and pop used to push them to play sports, and they wasn't a real big fan of it, and they kind of they kind of despised sports when they got older, when it was old enough to say no, because it just wasn't something that they was real into. So I felt like I was in that type of crowd, but my parents wouldn't push me. My father wouldn't push me, and my mom wouldn't push me. And there's a reason why they would never push me, because they wasn't really amazing in sports as well. All right. Because I was taller than my father, and I was extreme. I was about to say, no, I was the same size as my father. I was the same size as my father. My mom was short, but neither one of them had any history of playing, sports, So that just wasn't my thing. Nobody didn't push it on me to do. And it wasn't something that was, was pushed, when, in my neighborhood. You dig what I'm saying? So, like one day, like, I was like in middle school, and one of my teachers recommended me to try out for the middle school basketball team. I'm like, okay, whatever, So I told my dad about it. I went home, told my dad about it. I said, yeah, one of the teachers thought that I would be good in middle school for the middle school basketball team. Okay. So my father was going like, okay. So, just I had to stay after school and try out, And in middle school basketball and high school and college, they're totally different. In middle school, if you're tall, you're automatically going to be selected for the team. See, I thought it was going to be a tryout. I had to do a few things and things of that nature. I think the hardest thing in middle school basketball was the physical, because, my mom and pops, they didn't really didn't have the ends, but, they had health insurance. It was affordable health insurance. And the hardest, like I said, the hardest part was just getting the physical, because you had to wait to do the physical. You just couldn't just, go to your personal doctor, just go to a clinic and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, there's your physical. Okay, you can have it all in less than 24 hours. It just took time. As far as getting tennis shoes, I always had tennis shoes. Okay. And the school gave me my uniform and my shorts. Okay. So, and I remember playing middle school basketball. When you play unorganized basketball and you go to organized basketball, it's just like a whole nother field. Like middle school basketball, I knew the ABCs of basketball. Like you couldn't stay up underneath the goal for more than 3 seconds. I didn't even know that was a thing. I would see it in sports. I would see the NBA, but I would never hear anyone get called for it. You dig what I'm saying? So, in middle school, they play by basketball rules. So that's when I figured out there's a 3-second rule. So you have to orchestrate it right to where when your team shoots the ball, you're able to just slide in there and get the rebound. Middle school basketball was super, super easy because since I was so tall, I had a huge wingspan. I was able to get rebounds. But there was something else I forgot. Like when you're on the court, you can get away with like an unorganized basketball. Like if you go outside or you go to the Boys and Girls Club, you dribble, but nobody don't really be trying to steal the ball from you. They just standing around. I discovered in middle school organized basketball, you can't do that. You just can't just be dribbling and ain't nobody gonna try to take the ball from you. So it was a couple of times, I had to get used to the fact that people are going to come and try to take the ball. So I had to get used to that fact. You dig what I'm saying? So middle school ball prepared me for high school ball to understand the rules, the regulations, what you can do, what you cannot do. I was pretty good with mid range. I didn't even try 3-pointers. I couldn't see myself shooting threes. Like in today's basketball, you got big men that shoot threes all day, every day. It wasn't a big thing for a big man to shoot the three. Normally, the coach would want the big man to go down low and do some work as far as, being the defensive anchor or to get rebounds, defense and offensive rebounds. Okay. But if you got a free shot, you can take the shot, or if you got a putback, you can do putback. So I learned all the ABCs of organized basketball in middle school. Things I thought I knew, I really didn't know. You dig what I'm saying? So, middle school basketball, I was pretty good. Like, wasn't really, it was no real competition, as far as strategy. But like I said, I had to learn these different strategies on defense, like zone, full court, half court. I had to, go through those things. All right. And a lot of those things I learned through middle school. Now, as I went to high school, things are different in high school. When you play high picture, all right? And it's not about the rules or understanding stuff. The competition gets more serious. Now you're starting to play against people that are your size or even taller, So you have to play accordingly. You have to really, in basketball, high school basketball prepares your IQ, your mind. Because everybody's going to be either the same size as you or even taller. That, you're just going to have to just, take that as is. So now you got to really strategize and figure things out. And in high school basketball, it's different from middle school basketball. In middle school basketball, you can just figure out one or two things, you can win the game. In high school basketball, you have to figure out a lot of things. And even if you figure those things out, that don't necessarily mean you're going to win the game, because there are other elements that are playing in the factor when you go to high school basketball. In high school basketball, it's more so team versus team. Middle school basketball, if you got one good guy in middle school, if you got one great guy who's halfway decent in basketball, they can flourish in middle school. But when you play high school basketball, everybody's the same size as you or even taller, and everybody is same experience as you. And there's going to be some short players. They're not going to be scared of you because of your height. So you got all those things play into factors, okay? Now, in high school basketball, like in middle school, I was the starter. Hell, I was like the MVP of that league because, like I said, there was no one like me. No one was the same size as me in middle school. In high school, it's a different thing. I was a starter in middle school. In high school, the varsity, the senior class are still the starters, and you have to work your way to get on the floor. In high school basketball, it's not about what you do on the court of that particular night. It's the whole progression through those 5 days of practice. Those 5 days of practice, the coach determines who's going to start, who's going to come off the bench, and who is just going to be on the bench just in case something happens. All right. So I had to really work my way into getting halfway decent minutes. I like high school basketball, but high school basketball, it wasn't scratching my itch like it did in middle school. So I'm thinking to myself, well, while I'm still playing high school basketball, obviously I'm going to have to go into the gym. I'm going to have to, beef up a little bit. So I was telling my father, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to get some weights and things of that nature. I got to put some weight on my body because, like last year, I was the skinniest person. Just because I was tall don't necessarily mean I'm going to get, I'm going to be, it's the duration of high school basketball. Like, the games are more intense, and it seems like the quarters are longer, and even like the minutes are even longer. So you got to take advantage of everything. So my father recommended, like, yeah, you know what you should do? You should try out for the football team. I said, football? I said, yeah, in football, they can add muscle and definition on your body. You'll get on the field a lot quicker than you will on basketball. Thought about it. So I went and said, okay, cool. Nice football. All right. The coach saw me and he said, oh man, we need to figure out where we're going to put you on the football field. So they tried to, they thought I could be a good tight end or receiver. That, I ran like a little route real fast. But when I get the hardest part of receiving is catching the ball. I was not good at catching the ball. So my hands were not there. Okay. So the coach had an idea, put him on the defensive line. So I was a defensive end. I didn't think that was going to work out. Because I was saying to myself, like, yo, coach, like, look at me. I'm 150 pounds soaking wet. Like, why would you put me on the line? He said, trust me, you'll probably do better on the defensive line than trying to stick you out there on the offense. And he said, also in defense, you get to hit the offense. You don't take hits like you do on the offensive side. I'm going like, okay, cool. I'm down with that. So I remember my first game. We're on the football field waiting for this high school team. I think I forgot the name of the high school team. Anyway, we saw them from a distance. And as they coming off the bus, we're on the other side of the football field. And we're going like, man, these guys, this is gonna be this is gonna be an easy game. Look how short these guys are. Look how we're all up here laughing at them and things of that nature. Because at a distance, they look very small. But man, when they got on that field, and when the game started, man, they looked like a goddamn pro team. We started struggling. We were like, oh shit. We took these guys way too, we didn't take these guys seriously. Anyway, to make a long story short, they whooped our ass. They handed, man, the game was over with by the second quarter. All right. Now, in football, it's different from basketball. Like if you're behind in basketball, they're going to try to somehow tie it up or win the game. So they're going to use their starter a lot more, even when they're behind in basketball. In football, if it's over, it's over. So that's when people like myself get more playing time. Like, okay, well, it's over with. Let's throw the other guys. Let's get everybody off the bench. Let them get an opportunity to play. So it was like the fourth quarter. I was playing from the third to the fourth quarter. And then the coach noticed how I was getting through the line, and I was I could almost tackle the quarterback. By the time I get there, the quarterback has already got rid of the ball. So I'm going like, okay, I need to try this. Okay. So I get back jerking and moving before he snaps the ball. I mean, I'm not talking about no quick juke. I'm talking about real hard juke, like he's getting ready to run back. You just got to pay attention to that stuff. So I'm paying attention to the quarterback. So, down, ready, set. He pulls back like he's getting ready to snap the ball. And then that's how I would make the jump. And one time I hit him. I didn't get a chance to tackle him or sack him or anything, but I did hit him to the point where he had he just threw the ball. I hit him as soon as that ball came out of his hand, I just tapped him, and it made him misdirect. You know, he didn't put a firm throw on it. And in football, if you can get to the quarterback numerous times, you can make the quarterback get kind of antsy and start, getting beside themselves and start throwing the ball. And then that's what happened. So the coach saw that, and he's going like, man, we can work with that. And, when the game was over with, the other team's coach congratulated me. He's saying like, man, you really got to our quarterback. You need to start working on that. He was telling me all the stuff I need to do. You might, if you start doing this, you start doing that, So I'm soaking in all this knowledge. Okay. So even the other coach was impressed of what I did. And even my coach was impressed. So like I said, I played that whole season, and the coach was telling me, hey, Chris, make sure that you sign up for the football team next year. I'm going like, all right, cool. Next year come, I didn't even sign up, because I was preserving my body for basketball. Because football was something that I wanted to do to, get physical. It was sort of like going to a gym. It was something I wanted to do to get my body toned, get my body right, to prepare me for what I actually wanted to do was basketball. And I played basketball. I played football for that one season, but for the rest of the 4 years, I pretty much stayed on the basketball side. I mean, I played 1 year of high school football, called it a wrap, and one of the reasons, you have to be really locked into football. And that was another thing about football. Football was a big process. It was a big grind. And, it's rough in the beginning. it gets kind of easy before the first week or before the first game of, you know, of high school football. But during the summer, it's not it's not fun. It's like boot camp in a way. It's like going to the army. And that was the one of the things that turned me off about football. You know, even though it's, you know, it's a, you know, great way to work out, and, you know, it was fine and dandy. It was just that summer. You had to spend the whole summer in high school football. And you had to give up your summer to just to even play high school football. And I felt like I was, you know, yeah, I was a kid, you know, I'm going like, man, if I play football all summer long, I'm gonna miss the opportunities to go hang out, go find me a shorty, do this, do that. And I think that's one of the reasons why it took me a while to get really active with females, because, you know, I was doing so many other things, you know. So when I got out of high school, I was able to do those things. But I was saying, you know, I always look back and say, you know, I probably would have had a more active dating life if I didn't, you know, try out for football and basketball. Things would probably be different because I had to learn things on the fly. A lot of failures, particularly in the dating scene. But yeah, I want to contribute it to playing sports in the summer. But it's really, it, you know, it plays a part, but it's not a huge part. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for the thumbs up. Hey, man. Hold up. Hold up. My fault, man. The chat don't come. Look, wait a minute. Why the chat don't come in? See, why it reads on my phone. Paul, what's up? How you doing? I didn't get your response, you know, at that time. So I do apologize, okay? Damn, I could have just done that. Damn, I ain't feeling that. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that either. All right. So I'm gonna call that a day. Hope everyone thoroughly enjoyed Based on a True Story. It's your host, your moderator. I'm Chris the Don One. What's up? Back in full effect. I do want to apologize to you guys. I just couldn't do it at that. I couldn't do it earlier because, you know, I was sick, and I'm still kind of sick. I'm still going through it, but it's getting better. So I'll talk to you guys later. I'm up out of here. Deuces. Finally got to see me, boys. Deuces.